All right, this is Sam with Sam's Roadside Service, also known as the Fastest Roadside Guy Alive. If you know me, you know I'm in the roadside assistance business. And on top of that, what I do is I help drivers level up from being subcontractors for like auto rescue or some other companies into owning their own businesses and being able to generate their own leads and calls for roadside assistance. There's a lot of different angles you need to attack this from if you want to level up from a subcontractor into an owner-operator. But the biggest one, the one that'll help you the most and the fastest, is your tools. So what I'm going to do is, I've made a couple tool videos before, but I've never shown what every single tool on my truck is. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We do 4 main services, so I'm going to show you those, plus a couple miscellaneous things we also do. Start off with fuel deliveries. We deliver 2 gallons of regular fuel. What you're going to want to do with a fuel can is you're going to want to modify it using a fast fuel system and a Ford funnel. This is going to let you deliver gas to any vehicle on the road that takes regular gas, including the Fords and stuff where you need the special funnel. But you can empty 2 gallons into a car in 30 seconds flat using this fast funnel fuel system. You can buy that at the bottom of this video. There'll be a link to Amazon with most of the tools that are on here. But this right here will save you about 4 minutes per fuel delivery. So that's the regular gas. If you're in this business, for auto rescue, they don't do diesel, but if you're gonna take calls and charge people $65, you're gonna wanna be able to deliver diesel fuel. I carry 2 5-gallon diesel cans. One of these cans will be enough for like a Ford F-250 or 350 diesel, you know, a big pickup truck that takes diesel fuel. 5 gallons is usually enough. But you can see I carry 2, and that's because we do a lot of semis. And if you're going to a semi, you're going to want to be able to deliver 10 gallons of diesel. If you're not delivering diesel fuel, you're missing out a lot on a lot of revenue, because semis and trucking companies will pay $120, $150, $175 for 10 gallons of diesel. Because if they call a diesel mechanic, it might be $300 to $500. So you're saving them time and money, because you'll be able to get there fast and bring enough gas and whatnot, enough diesel fuel for them. So I carry everything in my truck, 10 gallons of diesel and a 2-gallon fuel can. You're also going to want a funnel. Some semis have you know, some plastic and fairings in the way of the gas can, so you're going to want to keep a funnel in there to make your job a little easier. Now the next thing, another big service we do is lockouts. So my lockout kit is made up of a few components. And I use Access Tools. I think they're the best brand. They have a hard piece of plastic in here that makes sliding through your door frame easy. This is the main one I use, the big airbag, but you can get a kit that has 2 airbags and a couple of these pieces in there. You're also going to want a wedge to get that first gap in the door. You know, something like this, and then you can get your airbag in there. I'm not going to show you how to do a lockout right now, but you get it. You're going to want something like that. Something else that's really helpful is a thin piece of plastic. Some cars are so tight, you're going to want to slide this between the door first and then use this. Just a little trick. So 2 bags. Again, these are Access Tools. And then you're going to want to use the 60-inch long reach. This I use sometimes. The main one I use is this one. I think it's either 52 or 54 inches. It's going to handle about 80% of your lockouts. You're going to reach for the door handle or hit the power button. This is called a long reach tool. You're going to want a loop tool like this. This will get the pop-up locks on the door. You slide it in there, loop this over the pop-up lock, pull it up, boom, pull it up, you're in. The reason you want this extra long reach tool is on some BMWs, you need to get to the center console and press the electronic lock button. It's either in the center console near the gear shift, or it's all the way under the radio on the dashboard. But you're going to have to press that, pull it out, rebend your tool, and then go for the door handle on BMW like X5s and whatnot. Also, on Honda Civics, it's much easier to use this tool to pop open the trunk than it is to try to do the lockout on a Honda Civic. They're really hard, but you can use this to pop the trunk, or like on, say, a Cadillac, if the battery's dead and the keys are locked in the car, you're going to need this long reach tool to open the hood so you can get your jump box on it. That's something where I go to a lot of lockouts and somebody was there, they had the right tools, they just didn't know what to do. When the battery's dead, you got to pop the hood, hook up your jumper box, and then you should have power to the lock buttons or the door to open that up. But that's the basics for a lockout. One other thing for your lockouts that you may want to consider is going to be a stool. All right, sometimes you need to get up on this and look through the windshield, or you know, maybe you're dealing with a high, you know, like a tall truck or a box truck or something like that, where you need to get up high and it's a weird angle, so you're going to want to be able to step up onto that. So that's your lockouts. Now, jump starts, I recommend you carry a couple different boxes for your jump starts. Your first and your main box, the one that's going to help you 80-85% of the time, I recommend the JNC 770. This has a digital voltmeter on it, so you can see how much amps are in the battery, how much voltage is in the battery, I mean, as well as when you start the car, you can see how much the alternator is putting out with this. This is a really good jump box. They last years. I do thousands of jump starts with them every year. This one's not too heavy, but it's powerful enough to start all your passenger cars, most of your trucks. What it doesn't start is like some high compression motors like your Hemi Chargers, your V12 Mercedes or Maybachs, or some dual battery F-150, F-250 type of trucks, and some other ones. And you always want to start with this one because it'll get them going most of the time. When that doesn't work or that fails you, you're going to want to step it up to this is a Carlisle 850. JNC also makes one about this big. This will start everything that this won't, that the JNC won't, up to including a semi or a big box truck, and dual battery, like again, pickup trucks or Hemi Chargers or whatever. A lot of times you pull up in that red box, the JNC doesn't work for some reason, but the blue box will. So I always recommend a backup, and you want your backup to be bigger than your other one. This is a 12 and 24 volt model. I've never used the 24 volt, but I've used this box a lot. I follow my drivers around, my new drivers, when they only have the JNC 770. Oh, I tried it, you know, service unsuccessful, it didn't start. And I show up and I put the blue box on and it starts. You should be able to get 90-95% of your jump starts going regardless. And I know with just one box you're going to have a high failure rate. Maybe you did a bunch of jump starts and it's drained. Maybe it's just not powerful enough for whatever reason. I mean, it could be coming down to the clamps. This is a heavier duty set of clamps. These wear out. These are really tight. These get a little loose. So there's multiple reasons why you want to have two jump boxes. But if you're going to be in this business and show up charging somebody $65 for a jump start, you're going to want to get them going. And if you carry two boxes, you're going to get them going. So I keep those in my truck all the time. And these I actually had to the cables fray. That's one weak point of these, is these cables fray on the ends after a couple years. So you end up, you know, cutting them here and putting a new eye on there. But then they don't wrap up evenly, so it's not great as far as that goes, but more than worth it when you need it. So the next thing we're going to talk about, that's your jump starts. We did fuel deliveries, we did lockouts. Now we're going to be doing tire changes. For the tire changes, you should definitely carry a 3-ton jack. This is a Harbor Freight Pittsburgh low profile aluminum racing 3-ton jack. It's way lighter than a steel jack. You're going to want to carry this as well as a 2-ton low profile aluminum racing jack. You're going to need, 90% of the time you're going to be able to use that 2-ton jack. This is really light. It's really convenient to get in and out of your truck. It's going to get the job done most of the time, but you're going to show up to a trailer. And again, if you show up to a Dodge Ram 2500, you're maxing out your 2-ton jack. All right, those are heavy trucks. Amazon vans, Ram 3500 van frames, is very heavy on a 2-ton jack. You can definitely do it, but it's very heavy, whereas the 3-ton can easily handle that. And that 3-ton jack, you're going to get calls with trailers. And again, if you're running ads, you need to be able to accept the call. You can't say, oh, I can't do a trailer. I had a guy just yesterday do a trailer fully loaded, dual axle, dually trailer. He used his 3-ton jack. He was able to get the job done with much effort, but he got it done because he had the right tools. Tools are everything in this business. You need to get the right tools. You don't want to waste your money and get useless stuff. You want to buy the tools that you're going to need to get the job done. We get our GORA rate, our service unsuccessful rate is so low because we all are equipped with the right tools. So you're going to want a 2-ton jack. I've also been experimenting. I don't have it with me. I wore it out with a scissor jack, just a regular passenger vehicle scissors jack. Those are really handy on small cars. I don't recommend them unless you're an experienced operator, unless you're an experienced provider. I would never use one before, but I had a really knowledgeable guy, one of my best drivers. He uses one almost every time on a passenger vehicle. I've experimented. They're good for when you're in a really tight spot. There's a lot of good reasons to use a scissors jack unless you're not experienced. If you're experienced, you know how a jack's supposed to look. If it gets crooked, you want to back it down or take it off or whatever. But if it's a passenger car on a flat surface and situation's perfect, a scissors jack will save you a lot of time and effort on your back. I always buy the extended warranty on my jacks because they last a couple years, but I do replace them once in a while. Okay, so that's your jacks. So the next thing you're going to worry about is your tool bag. Now I recommend you take the tools in your tool bag that you're going to use most of the time. You don't want to load this thing down with every single tool you got because you need to get it in and out of the truck 7 to 10 times a day, 350 days a year. So what I keep in my tool bag, these are all essential pieces. This is a Pittsburgh 1/2-inch lug nut impact socket set. It's 2, 4, 6, 7 pieces. I recommend you keep 2 of these in your truck. I keep 1 in my bag. I also keep a couple of the heavy duty impact sockets because these break. I go through about 5 of these a year where I have to take them back to Harbor Freight, exchange them out because they just break. They're thin walled. They'll work on custom rims. You can pull this plastic piece off if you need to make it even thinner. But you always want to have at least 2 of everything of these. And then again, I recommend a heavy duty set because sometimes the bolts are on so tight and they just break. They break your Pittsburgh set. So along with this socket set, you're going to want a spline tool. This is for the bullet lugs. These are on a lot of cars, a lot of rims, and nobody has this as part of their kit. So you're going to need that. So 2 of those and 1 of those for that. But I just keep 1 in the bag. I keep this in the bag. You're going to want a high quality impact gun if you can afford it. There's different ways to do this. This is an Ingersoll Rand 20-volt impact gun, 1/2-inch drive. This to me is the king daddy of these. People will make the argument that maybe Milwaukee is better or Snap-on is better, but Ingersoll Rand, Milwaukee, Snap-on, you're going to want one of the best you can get. These will remove 95-99% of your lug nuts. Won't remove them all. Sometimes you'll still have to get out your breaker bar and your levers. I use the jack handles as another lever to get some of these bolts loose, especially on full-size Ford Explorers and F-150s with the aluminum rims. Another way to get in this game is to use a DeWalt or a Cobalt. That would be the second tier, and the lowest tier is going to be like a Porter Cable or a Black & Decker. On the second and third tier, you're going to want to carry a breaker bar. This is a 25-inch breaker bar. These are available on Harbor Freight or on, at the bottom of this page, you can find a link to these as well. a 25-inch breaker bar, and a cheater pipe. If it doesn't come off with this, you know, I've even thrown this end on there to make it this long. If this doesn't get it off, just shoot yourself in the head because it's not coming off. But if you're using a cheaper impact gun, something besides the top tier, the top three, you're definitely going to want to carry your breaker bar in your bag. I don't carry it in the bag anymore because I rarely use it, but I carry it in the truck. Now, another essential for your tool bag is a 3-pound dead blow hammer or a 4-pound dead blow hammer. You either want both of these or just the 4-pound. I carry a 3-pound because it's easier to swing. Again, this was a Harbor Freight one. They crack when it gets really cold and you whack them, so you're going to want to keep your receipt. Lifetime free exchange at Harbor Freight on those. The 4 pounds, I don't think I've ever cracked one. But you want to carry a 3 and a 4 because this will work 90% of the time. But again, once in a while, you got to get out the big boy. If you're a bigger guy or a strong guy, just get the 4-pound. Otherwise, carry both. I carry one in my bag. I carry the 3-pound in my bag, my lug nuts, and my gun. This I keep in the truck next to the breaker bar. Couple more miscellaneous pieces for your tool bag. You're going to want to keep an Allen key set. A lot of these rims, custom rims, have little Allen key bolts on them that you have to loosen. You wouldn't believe how annoying it is. Somebody can't change a tire because they don't have an Allen key set. So you're going to want one of those. Big screwdriver. This is a big flathead screwdriver. This is going to get most of your hubcaps off. And you also want to carry a small screwdriver to get some small center caps off and for some other reasons that you might need a small screwdriver. But that goes in the bag. I also carry a wheel chalk in the bag. You're going to want to chalk your wheels, especially if you're using a scissor jack. Again, this is a Harbor Freight model. They're cheap enough, but I'll be honest with you, me and most people that use them end up leaving them behind. It gets a little awkward when the customer runs over the wheel chalk, but it's something you're going to want and need. All right, so that's the tool bag. That is your tool bag setup. That will get you through most of your tire changes. It's light. My bag's collapsible. I can throw some things on top of it. It's a very durable canvas bag. It's hard to find. A lot of people use tool boxes and whatnot. I didn't like it for me because of how my truck's set up, so I got a bag. If you're changing tires, you're going to need an air compressor. Every single spare tire is low, 90% of them. So this is it's a Pittsburgh 12 volt 150 psi with clamps. I just hook it up to my jumper box, and I usually take the spare tire out and hook this compressor up and pull the wheel off. By the time I'm done with the wheel, the tire's full and I'm ready to go. I keep this right here where everything's handy because you use it all the time. You're going to want to keep a jack stand in your car or truck. If you're in this business, you're going to want to be able to, sometimes they don't have a spare, sometimes their tire can't be plugged. You're going to have to pull the wheel off and take it to the tire shop and put it back on. That is a very expensive service for somebody. You're going to want to be able to provide it. All right, you don't want to, and you can't just leave the car on the ground. You have to leave it on something. You're going to want to leave it on a jack stand. Take your jack with you so nobody steals it. Run to the tire store, get a new tire put on, bring it back, drop it. Boom, Bob's your uncle, you're done. So you're going to need that. All right, you're going to be dealing with a lot of strip lug nuts. You're going to want, I carry 2 of these strip lug nut remover tools. I bought this one originally and then somebody gave me this one. They wear out. I don't know if you can see in there, but the spikes end up getting a little worn out after you beat them on. You're going to want to carry a 2-pound small sledgehammer. You need something bigger than a hammer, but you don't want a sledge. So this is a 2-pound sledge. You just beat that strip lug nut remover on the strip lugs and pull it right off. So you're gonna want to. I just had a guy with a call today. he couldn't get a call done because one stripped lug nut. The cap came off of a Ford, as they always do, and it was rounded out because somebody tried to change the tire and it didn't work, and he didn't have one of these simple tools, and it was a service unsuccessful because he didn't have this. I had to send somebody else out there to get the job done. But a 2-pound sledge and some strip lug nut removers. I carry these in the truck as well. I carry 2 extra batteries for my gun. I've never gone through 3 in a day. I have gone through 2. So you're going to want to have plenty of batteries and a way to charge them. My truck has an inverter already, so I didn't have to buy an inverter. I've got a plug in the back of my truck that I can keep my jump boxes charged, or my my batteries charged. That's very helpful. If you just have a regular car, you're going to want to have a nice inverter, bigger the better, to keep your stuff charged, especially your jumper boxes, because you're going to wear them out. You could do 15 jump starts in a day in the wintertime, no problem. If you're working for auto rescue, you're not plugging tires, but if you're working for yourself and charging somebody $65 to show up and change a tire, you're going to want a tire plug kit. This is the Blackjack tire repair kit. I also sell this on my through my Amazon at the bottom of this page. I've had I started off with the Slime model from AutoZone. These are much thicker handles, much thicker components. It comes with 2 sets of regular and thick plugs, so you can plug, a little bit bigger of a hole with a little bit more confidence. Obviously, you're always going to want to use good judgment when plugging a tire, but you can charge $85 for a plug, and if you're not doing it, you're just missing out on free money, because a lot of times it's something simple like a nail right in the middle of the tire, and that can easily be plugged. So I carry that in my truck as well. Along with your tire plugs, you're going to need a spray bottle with soapy water in it. You're going to want to verify that you got the leak plugged, plus you want to go around the tire, check the rim, make sure that's not leaking as well. So you're going to want a spray bottle with some soapy water in it. If you're in this business, you're going to want to be able to do battery installations. Main thing with this is it's just a couple tools. You want one of these plugs for your jump and carry. You plug this into the box and this into the lighter, and that'll save their settings. Before you take out their battery, it'll save the radio and their power seat settings and stuff like that. I carry this like 190 piece. It's got all the wrenches and screwdrivers and sockets and everything in there to change a battery. I also carry this it's like a ratchet. This is like a ratchet wrench. Sometimes these come in real handy for changing a battery as well. But a basic battery changing kit is going to be some wrenches and some sockets. And the main thing is you want a very long extension like this, because you're always down there in the engine compartment trying to get that bolt off that's holding the battery to the engine compartment. And then a couple screwdrivers, because there's like little plastic pieces with clips on them. This is a Phillips and a flathead. You're going to want to carry that as part of your battery kit, along with stuff like battery cleaner and some wire brushes and stuff like that. I also carry these bolt cutters in case you have to replace a terminal head. And these are services that, you're looking at $85 minimum to put a battery in. If you're not changing batteries out, you're missing out on a lot of revenue for your business. I can't believe I missed the most important thing for changing a tire as part of the tire changing service. You're going to want to get a universal spare tire release kit. If you're looking at a Chrysler minivan or some of the Mazdas, you're going to want to use this to lower the tire down. Customers are missing these all the time. And besides that, you don't want to spend any time hunting for customers' tire kits. It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to put them away. Half the time they're not there. They're traveling and their truck's full and you have to empty it to find stuff. Forget that. This is the best toolkit in the world. You can't find it anywhere, so I can't sell it to you. But the one at the bottom of this page on the link is the Steelman. It's also a 7-piece spare tire kit. Not quite as efficient, but it'll definitely get the job done. And you're going to want some kind of universal spare tire kit. It's a minimum. It's a absolute requirement. It's an absolute requirement because, again, half the time they don't have their tools, and it's just not fun to dig for them. Access Tools also makes one. Theirs is like 50 pieces. It's a bit cheap and flimsy to work with, so I started off with that one. I didn't love it, so I moved on to the Steelman and then eventually found these, which are the best. It's nice to have one of these little lights. I was never a light guy. A friend of mine's wife got me this for Christmas, and it's great. This is just a little light. You set it down next to the tire, lights up everything. Halogen. I think this is like 1,000 watts or something. That's all the main stuff. We're basically down to miscellaneous right now. So miscellaneous things you need: some battery cleaner when you're changing batteries, some starting fluid. Semi trucks, you gotta spray some ether in there to get them going a lot of the time. Same thing with like diesel pickup trucks. Some PB blaster. Buy the good stuff. Don't buy, this is not WD-40. This, you spray these on lugs when they're stuck. They help a lot. I carry a battery lifter, nice little tool to have. You're going to want to carry some zip ties. They do not recommend that you wind the spare tire hoist back up when you drop the tire and get the spare down. They recommend you zip tie it to the frame. You're going to want to do that. You're going to want to carry some brushes to clean terminals for jump starts and battery changes. I've used this 50 times. It's nice to have when you get the big hubcap puller and then to knock it back on. Very useful tool. You're going to want to carry some of these wedges. You'll do a battery swap out for somebody and you won't be able to get the terminal tight. So you're going to want to put this wedge on there and then put the terminal on there, and that's going to snug right down. It's going to save you a lot of headache if you carry some of those battery terminal wedges. This is another underrated tool. You wouldn't believe it. This is a valve stem core remover. All right, sometimes the valve stem is just loose. Tighten it up, you're done. What else? Carry some terminals for some Fords and some other common ones that rust out. But that's pretty much it for my miscellaneous tools. I carry a couple other screwdrivers. You're going to want a universal tool like this, and you're going to want the star head adapter. I think it's the GMC Terrain. The battery is under the floor in the back seat, and it takes the star head to open up the battery compartment. And believe it or not, you'll go under the hood and use the jumper ports, nothing. You'll hook up your big box to the jumper port, nothing. But then you go and remove that star head under the floor and hook right to the battery, and it starts right up. So this is a nice one to have. I've carried battery testers in the past. Every battery you test is dead if it is bad if it's dead. So I don't even bother with that anymore. Let me just look around, make sure I got everything. Oh. If you're in this business, you need to be accepting credit cards. I carry a Square reader. I use Square. It's fast, it's easy, it's affordable. You're going to want extra chargers and cable. This is a MyCharge battery pack. You know, your battery's going to go dead exactly at the wrong time. So you're going to want to have one of these for when you're on the side of the road and your phone's dying, because the number one thing in this business is communication. If you can't communicate, you're out. So you got to have your phone for that. I also recommend an earpiece. This is a Plantronics 5200. This is the best one I found. You can switch it around, use it on either ear. They're durable, they last a long time. Again, this is something I buy the extended warranty on. But you'll be changing the tire, your phone's still gonna ring. A lot of our drivers are changing tires and the phone's in the car and they can't hear the phone. And so I gotta wait 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to find out if they're accepting the next call or not. That is not great. You want to be in communication with your base. The way to do that is to have a good phone. You want the best phone you can get with an earpiece with the most memory on the phone. I carry an iPhone 10, the biggest one they have, 256 megawatts or whatever they do those in. A couple more just miscellaneous things for tire plugs. A little out of order here, but you're going to want a couple different pairs of pliers, regular pliers, needle nose. It can be tough to dig, little set of side cutters, to dig some stuff, you know, to plug a tire. You got to get the nail out or the bolt out or whatever. A little cutter for cutting your thing. Carry some glue and some pliers. It's going to help you with that. That, my friends, is pretty much it. One more thing you should probably consider carrying is a deep well set of 12-point sockets. A lot of times you'll get a lug nut lock on there and the strippers won't work, or for whatever reason. Believe it or not, this 12-point socket, you pound it on there, you can get a lot of locking lug nuts off with a 12-point socket pounded on, where a stripped lug nut remover won't work. I carry an air gauge because the compressor air gauge is wrong a lot. Underrated tool coming up. Flashlight with a narrow beam. This has an adjustable beam on it. You need the narrowest beam because when you're trying to find what kind of tool you need, you want to be able to shine this down the spare tire housing tunnel to see which of your spare tire tools you need. If it's male, female, or whatever, it's easy to see. Instead of going through all your tools, you get a flashlight, take a look, and narrow it down first. Now, as far as gear goes, you can do anything from a simple polo shirt with your logo on it. This is high vis in gray. Was a nice buy. I don't wear that too often anymore. But at the very least, you need a high vis jacket. I've got my logo on mine. It's not necessary. You just want to show up and look like you're there to do something for them. A couple other things. You're going to want a very, very warm jacket. This is an Arctic Carhartt. It is windproof, waterproof, snowproof, everything proof for extreme winter. And I also carry a Carhartt rain jacket. I always try to buy the best quality I can. And right now I'm just wearing, this is actually a cheap high-vis hoodie jacket. I didn't love it. The zippers always melt on these, but I had to buy one in a pinch, so I ended up with this one. I also carry a knee pad that I use because when I change my tire, it keeps you out of the water, and you can get in a nice athletic position and not have to worry about rocks and whatnot on your knee. Very useful. And lastly, you're going to want a good pair of boots. I see a lot of people wearing gym shoes. I mean, good for you. I see people doing this in sliders. Hey, I'm happy for you. Be comfortable. If you want to look like a professional, men wear boots. Professionals wear boots. These are steel toe. These are Timberland Pros with a 6-inch rise and a steel toe. They're very light. They're very durable. I go through about a pair every 2 years. And believe it or not, I have dropped stuff and been glad I'm wearing my steel toe boots. That is about it. Let me just take a quick look. That's everything I carry in my truck to do this job. If you have all these tools, there's no reason you can't get 95 or more % of your calls complete. If it's standard roadside assistance, of course, you know, sometimes the car does have a bad starter or does have some other issue why it's not going to run, but the majority of the time the car should start and you should be able to get a tire change regardless of the circumstances. Thanks for watching this video. Like my page, subscribe to my channel, please. If you want to see more of this stuff, leave a comment or any questions you have. Again, I'm in the business of teaching people how to do this. Nobody does this better than me. I call myself the fastest roadside guy alive. It's because it's true. I'm very efficient in how I do this, and this is a business where there's only two things that matter. The main thing is that you're able to get there and get them going, and the second thing is that you get a 5-star review. So watch for my next video, which is going to be all about how you can get 5-star reviews on your calls very easily. And just watch some of my other videos. And that's all I got for you. I am the fastest roadside guy alive. Sam's Roadside Service. I'm out.
You turn it off. I'm doing the check this one.